2 consecutive hits on the same target? Easy. Burst fire means 3 rounds in just 9 seconds, or roughly 10 rounds per minute. This is all thanks to a system that allows 3 to 5 shells to take different paths and hit the target at the exact same moment. And in Ukraine, the German howitzer's target is always the same: Russian occupiers. The PZH-2000 is one of the most advanced self-propelled howitzers ever built. At around $18 million per vehicle, it's also the most expensive SPH in the world. But what about its service life and reliability? This is a list of Western artillery systems in Ukrainian service that underwent repairs at European maintenance hubs during the first 6 months of 2026. You'll see American M777s, M109 Paladins, HIMARS, and many others. So why is the PZH-2000 missing from the list? Is it simply so reliable that it hardly ever breaks down? Or is something else happening behind the scenes that most people don't know about? We looked into it, and the answer surprised us. According to Military Balance, as of 2026, Ukraine operates up to 900 Western heavy artillery systems, including 431 self-propelled guns. Only 44 of those are German PZH-2000s, roughly 10% of all Western SPHs fighting in Ukraine. These German systems are both incredibly capable and relatively rare. So who keeps them running? And where are they actually repaired? During the first stage of the Russian full-scale invasion to Ukraine, damaged equipment had to be transported to repair centers in Europe, primarily Lithuania and Slovakia. Battle-damaged vehicles couldn't simply be hauled down public highways. They required camouflage, security escorts, and carefully planned routes, slowing every transport. A complete repair cycle for a PZH-2000, including transportation to Europe and back, typically took 1 to 3 months. If the damage was severe, repairs could drag on for 6 months or even longer. Now imagine what's happening at the front during that time. Ukrainian infantry suddenly calls danger close or sends out a desperate call for fire because Russian assault groups are already climbing over the trench line. The battalion commander radios the artillery battery, hoping for support, and the reply comes back that our most accurate, most powerful, and most valuable howitzer is currently sitting in line at the Polish-Ukrainian border crossing, waiting for customs clearance. The same thing happens with American equipment. Military analysts at the RAND Corporation even coined a term for it: the broken logistics tale. That's why the Franco-German defense group, KNDS, opens service centers inside Ukraine. But here's the problem. It's extremely difficult to hide a repair facility that constantly receives heavy armored vehicles from Russian missile strikes. According to numerous reports, some of these facilities may even be located deep underground for security reasons. Today, routine maintenance, field repairs, and full overhauls of KNDS equipment, including Leopard 1s, Leopard 2s, PZH-2000s, as well as the French Caesars and AMX-10 RCs, are carried out inside Ukraine by Ukrainian technicians. Those underground repair facilities have solved the logistics problem. Instead of spending months traveling across Europe and back, a PZH-2000 can now be repaired in just a matter of days. But what actually breaks down most often? Which components of the world's most expensive self-propelled howitzer require the most attention from Ukrainian technicians? And most importantly, is it possible to turn the Panzerhaubitze 2000 into the most reliable howitzer in the world? In this video, we'll show you the most common failures of the PZH-2000 revealed by the Russo-Ukrainian War, explain why they happen, and then reveal the upgrades these German howitzers are receiving in Ukraine. But before we get into the technical part,
don't forget to subscribe to the Weapons of Victory channel and hope to see you soon.
Now, let's start with the breakdowns. At the very top of the list of components that keep Ukrainian technicians busy is the autoloader. This is one of the most sophisticated assemblies on the entire vehicle, an engineering masterpiece. It's also probably the most valuable feature, considering that every 155mm shell weighs at least 45 kilograms. Loading that kind of ammunition by hand would be back-breaking work. The irony is that without the autoloader, burst fire and multiple rounds simultaneous impact, MRSI, simply aren't possible. It's entirely possible that this autoloader is one of the main reasons the PZH-2000 is the most expensive self-propelled howitzer in the world. So why does it break? The problem is that the engineers who designed the PZH-2000 never imagined it would end up fighting in conditions that resemble World War I. The system was designed for about 100 rounds per day. But in Ukraine, 100 rounds is barely anything. Crews routinely exceed that figure several times over. With non-stop firing, the breech, rammer, and ammunition conveyor are subjected to enormous mechanical stress, constant vibration, and extreme heat. Eventually, the sophisticated automation starts throwing critical error codes, jamming, or failing completely, turning one of the fastest-firing self-propelled howitzers in the world into little more than a steel box. When the autoloader fails, the crew can still fight by loading and laying the gun manually. The German designers did provide backup procedures for emergencies.
If the autoloader goes down or its electronics fail, we switch to manual loading and keep firing.
But operating the world's most advanced howitzer, like a manually loaded field gun, is exhausting and effectively sends the crew 50 years back in time. Let's move on. The second major weak point is the L52 gun barrel, developed by Rheinmetall. The 52 means the barrel is 52 calibers long, more than 8 meters. It's another masterpiece of military metallurgy. Many artillery professionals consider it the gold standard for 155mm guns. It gives the PZH-2000 its exceptional range, up to 36 kilometers with standard shells, up to 47 kilometers with rocket-assisted ammunition, and as far as 67 kilometers with precision-guided projectiles such as Volcano. The Rheinmetall L52 features a chrome-lined bore that not only extends barrel life, but also helps deliver remarkable accuracy. The company uses a highly specialized chrome plating process that preserves the structure of the hardened steel rather than weakening it. In the minds of the German engineers, the PZH-2000 was supposed to fight like this: fire a handful of highly accurate rounds, destroy the target. Then the crew drives off for a cup of coffee while the howitzer heads in for maintenance. Barrel life? Roughly 2,000 to 2,500 rounds, depending on the type of ammunition being fired. The barrel's condition is constantly monitored by onboard electronics. Once it approaches its service life limit, the system starts warning the crew that it's time for a major overhaul. One has to wonder, do those warnings annoy Ukrainian artillerymen, or do they just make them laugh?
The good thing is, this gun can still fight even if it loses all its electronics. Anything the autoloader or the fire control system does automatically, we can do by hand. Everything has a manual backup.
If the electronics go down, the gun commander must keep a manual firing log, recording every round the moment it's fired. In reality, it became a serious problem. The onboard safety system could completely shut down the gun to prevent a catastrophic failure. But because Ukraine simply didn't have enough long-range artillery, some PZH-2000s were firing up to 300 rounds a day. The barrels barely had time to cool between missions. And yet, despite that abuse, there were remarkably few catastrophic failures. CEO of Rheinmetall, Armin Papager, openly admitted in interviews that he was astonished by what Ukrainian crews managed to squeeze out of the L52 barrel. Some reportedly reached 20,000 rounds, nearly 10 times the designed service life. Almost any other artillery barrel would have burst long before that point. The German steel held together. The chrome lining didn't. Under such extreme firing schedules, the chrome plating gradually peeled away, dramatically accelerating barrel wear and reducing accuracy. Replacing the barrel wasn't exactly easy either. You need specialized equipment. This isn't the kind of repair you can perform in the middle of a forest with nothing more than a log for leverage, like crews sometimes do with the British AS-90. We've actually covered how Ukrainian crews repair British self-propelled howitzers right in the middle of the woods while the war is still raging. You can find that video on our channel after watching this one. It perfectly illustrates the difference between an SPH designed in the last century and one built for the 21st century. In the early years of the war, replacing a PZH-2000 barrel meant shipping the entire vehicle to Europe. Today, Ukrainian technicians can remove the worn-out 8-meter, 26-foot barrel themselves and install a new one without sending the Howitzer abroad. Another major challenge for Ukrainian PZH-2000 crews has been its incredibly sensitive electronics. The fire control system was designed according to strict German safety standards. If the sensors detect a critical fault, the computer assumes there's a risk of an ammunition explosion or crew injury, and it automatically locks out the weapon, preventing it from firing. So what actually causes these error messages? And how are Ukrainian technicians solving the problem? The PZH-2000 loves cleanliness. Its maintenance manual actually calls for clean uniforms, protective shoe covers, and even vacuuming the interior. That's perfectly reasonable on a proving ground. It's a very different story on the front line. Dust, carbon fouling from propellant gases, and moisture interfere with the induction sensors that count ammunition and monitor the breech mechanism. Meanwhile, the constant vibration from rough terrain or nearby explosions can disrupt communication between the sensors and the onboard computer. When that happens, the PZH-2000 can effectively go blind, shutting itself down right there in the firing position. For a long time, Ukrainian technicians weren't even allowed to disassemble the Howitzer's classified digital systems without certified factory engineers. So frontline maintenance crews often had to establish secure video calls with specialists from Rheinmetall and KNDS, troubleshooting the vehicle in real time under remote guidance. Today, things are very different. Most software-related issues can now be diagnosed and fixed right where the vehicle is deployed, while major repairs are carried out in Ukrainian maintenance facilities. In fact, Ukrainian technicians have accumulated the largest body of real-world modern artillery maintenance experience anywhere on the planet. These days, it's often they who are advising German engineers. Ukraine's combat experience has become the single biggest source of operational data for both KNDS and Rheinmetall, driving a major modernization effort and leading to the development of improved variants. The new A4 version features an upgraded cooling system, a more robust electrical power architecture, and improved electronics that are far more resistant to electronic warfare and GPS jamming. The software has also become much less sensitive to minor faults. The protection of critical sensors against dust and dirt has been improved, and damaged electronic modules and wiring harnesses can now be replaced much more quickly. The PZH-2000A4 is already arriving in Ukraine. Even more importantly, the older PZH-2000s delivered to Ukraine between 2022 and 2024 are expected to be upgraded in stages, first to the A4 standard and later to the A5 configuration. The A5 variant is currently in development and undergoing final testing. It is expected to receive a more powerful Centurion mission computer, along with dedicated protection against drones, which have become a nightmare for armored vehicles, even dozens of kilometers, miles, behind the front line. Now we'd like to hear your opinion. Do you think it's worth continuing to invest in upgrading the PZH-2000? Or would it make more sense for the manufacturer to focus on producing more RCH-155s, the system widely regarded as the successor to the Panzerhaubitze 2000? Let us know in the comments. And while you're there, tell us which other piece of Western military equipment you'd like us to cover in one of our upcoming videos. You'll also find playlists on our channel featuring the successes and the hard lessons of Western weapons in real combat. Stay safe and support Ukraine.